Good morning, students. My name is Dr. B. Suresh Babu, working as a professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. As a part of online classes, we are discussing governance concept. This governance concept is in dynamics of machinery subject for third year, first semester mechanical students. We, as we came to the last part of the classification of the governor, I want to memorize what we have studied up to the classification of governors only. Still problems are left. We are going to solve that one in the coming classes. Today's class is on Pickering governor and terms present in governor. I repeat once again, we are discussing the governor's concept and the present class is on Pickering governor and the terms used in governor. If you want to learn the governor's concept, a complete notes is available in our classroom code and department link. You can refer. Now we will go into the present aim of the class. Try to understand. In this class, we are going to learn types of governor, force analysis in of Porter and Hartnell governors, controlling force, stability, sensitiveness, isochronism, effort and power of the governor. In this also, hunting of the governors is also included in this one. It will be comes under sensitiveness category also. I repeat once again, in this concept or in this class, the aim is to know the types of governor, force analysis of the Porter and Hartnell governors, controlling force, stability, sensitiveness, isochronism, effort and power of the governor. Along with this one, hunting will be explained among this one and Proel governor will be explained as I mentioned in the title. Next. So classification. Classification is based upon broadly two types. One is centrifugal governors and second one is about inertia governors. As the syllabus is about greatly based on centrifugal governor, we have gone this centrifugal governor classification. In centrifugal governor, first one is pendulum type, that is called as a simple and basic governor. We are going to be called that is a watt governor. In pendulum governor, we have a watt governor. Second classification is in that one, that is a loaded type governor. Second one is about loaded type governor. In loaded type governor, there are two classifications are there. One is a dead weight governor. Second one is a spring controlled governor. I repeat once again, in loaded type governor, first we have dead weight governor, second one is a spring controlled governor. In dead weight governor, we have two types of governors are there. One is a Porter governor and next one is a Proel governor. In spring control, we have four types of governors are there. Hartnell governor, Hartung governor, Wilson Hartnell governor, Pickering governor. In the past class, we have learned about Hartung governor and Wilson Hartnell governor. In this class, we will learn about Pickering governor and the terms used in this governor. So as the classification, we came to the last. I have used this slide for memorizing the contents that I have explained in the past 5 classes. So in the past 5 classes, what we have studied is types of governor, how the governor is constructed, what is the differentiation between the one governor with another governor, and the derivation of the governor. Derivation in the sense on what factors this governor parameters will depend and what factors these parameters affect the speed, on what factors these governors are useful to use in different applications. So these are the aspects we have covered when each governor is discussed. Like this, In this class, we are going to discuss about the Pickering governor, where what is the construction of this one, what are the parts of the Pickering governor, working of the Pickering governor, and we are going to discuss about where this Pickering governor is going to be used. So that is the aim of this class. So before going to that one, first classification, centrifugal type of governor. In centrifugal type of governor, if you observe, the centrifugal governors are based on the balancing of centrifugal force on the rotating balls for an equal and opposite radial force, known as the controlling force. It consists of two fly balls of equal mass, which are attached to the arms. So, the centrifugal governors are based on the balancing of centrifugal force on the rotating balls for an equal and opposite radial force, known as the controlling force. It consists of two fly balls of equal mass, which are attached to the arms. Next, inertia governor. In inertia governor, the fly balls are arranged in such a manner that the angular acceleration or retardation of the governor shaft will change the position of these balls. So one is about the centrifugal force, second one is due to its angular acceleration or retardation of the governor shaft will change the position of these balls. That means when the governors are going to be rotating, these balls are going to move up and down at the sleeve. That is due to the mass we are going to use. So due to that inertia. Next one is inertia governor gives more rapid response to the effect of change of load, but they are practically difficult to make because of partial balancing of the rotating parts of governors. Therefore, centrifugal governors are used widely. If you observe another difference, sensitiveness is going to be very high in inertia governors than compared with the centrifugal governors. So, practically, inertia governors are difficult to use in applications than compared with the centrifugal governors. So, practically, centrifugal governors are going to be used in different applications. That's what he had mentioned. Next, we will go for the Pickering governor. So Pickering governor, if you observe this one, what are the parts of Pickering governor is? First one is, for every governor, we have a governor spindle is there. Here spindle nut is there. Leaf spring is there. Weight is there. One parameter is from the center of the axis of the spindle to the mass center is going to be treated as A, and this is the sleeve, and the height is going to be measured like this. So this is the difference. When the leaf spring is going to bend, the difference is like this. So this is going to be the stop. That means up to certain extent only it will move a height. After that one, stop is present in here, and it will stop that, and the speed is going to be maintained constant here. I think everyone know the leaf spring having ability to expand or to contract. Spring has a basic position property of this one, expansion, contraction. Next, if you observe, consists of a three straight leaf springs, each placed at equal angle intervals around the spindle. The upper end of the leaf spring is attached to the hexagonal nut fixed to the governor spindle. The lower of the leaf spring is attached to the sleeve on the spindle, which is free to slide on the spindle. So if you observe, this is the leaf spring. Here like this, three leaf springs are there. One is here, here set 3 will be there, here another set will be 3 will be there. Next, when the governor is going to have increase in speed, then these are going to be expanded. Then the distance from the spindle to the mass that we are attached is going to be A plus delta. At a rest condition, it is at A. While the spindle is going to be rotated, the springs are going to move apart from the spindle axis. Due to this one, the change in position is calculated by A plus delta. So in parts, governor spindle is there, spindle nut is there, leaf spring is there, weight is there, and the stop provision is provided, and distance between the spindle to the center of the mass is treated as A. Here is also A plus delta. If a spindle is going to be make rotations, the V springs is try to expand away from the spindle. The distance is measured by A plus delta. At a particular height, the spindle is going to be stopped with the help of a stopwatch. That's what we have to remember. Now, here the working of this governor. As already I told, Pickering governor, there are three springs arranged around the spindle. The arrangement is angular, and each spring hold similar weight at the centers. So similar weights are going to be, that means each spring has a same provision of similar weight. That means if it is 100 grams means another spring also weighs 100 grams only. The revolving balls act against these flat spring, and weights move outwards. As already I told, when due to the centrifugal force, we are discussing about centrifugal governors only. Due to the centrifugal force, the springs are going to move away from the spindle due to its weights, and spring tends to bend as the ball rotate about the axis of the spindle with a greater speed. As we are going to make rotations, so at one point of time the spring tends to bend as the ball rotates about the axis of the spindle with a greater speed, and thereby the balls are going to be pulling the springs away from the spindle, and that distance is going to be measured by A plus delta. I think you can observe the first position and second position distance is the first position when it is at rest condition. After that one, this green color plate has changed from this position to this position. The difference is going to be call it as a H. We call it as a H. The parameter is H. One is A plus delta changed in perpendicular to the axis position of the spindle, and another change is going to be at H. So this is how the working will be there. Next, governor effort. So just briefly discuss them in detail. In this class we have this one. What is a governor effort? It is defined as the mean force exerted on the sleeve during a given change in speed. So when governor speed is consists of the net force at the sleeve is zero. That means when we are going to employ a governor in an application, due to the speed of that engine or a motor, governor is going to have some force due to the change in speed. The change in speed is going to be called as the governor effort. How much governor is putting effort means when governor speed is consists the net force at the sleeve is zero. When governor speed increases, there will be a net force on the sleeve to move it upwards, and the sleeve starts moving in to the new equilibrium position where net force becomes zero. That means when the governor is going to make rotations with the help of this application, sleeve try to lift. So the effort that is made by the governor to lift that sleeve is going to be called as the effort of the governor. That means the work done that is used to lift that sleeve is going to be called as a governor effort. So governor effort depends upon the speed factor, first one, and result of that speed factor is change in height of the sleeve, which is fixed at the center of the sleeve. Next, isochronism governors. What is isochronous? See, governor is said to be isochronous when the equilibrium speed is constant. That means range of speed is zero for all radii of rotation of the balls within the working range, neglecting the friction. That means a range of speed will be there. That means from 100 to 200 rpm. If the governor height does not change, then that is going to be called as a isochronous governors. After 200, once again it will change. That means from 100 to 200, we are going to have a constant fuel supply, because the isochronous governor is going to maintain the equilibrium speed in that range. So a governor is said to be isochronous when the equilibrium speed is constant. That means for all radii of rotation balls within the working range. These isochronous governors can be calculated for different types of governors. In this one, I have given a for Porter governor only. Already we have derived a derivation for this Porter governor. For understanding how it will affect, I have given in this one. N1 square is equal to small m, that means ball mass weight. Capital M is going to be the small sleeve mass. 1 plus Q. Q is the change in position. 895 by H1. 895 is the constant. H1 is the height. That one for a minimum speed. For minimum speed, H1 we are going to consider. N2 square. Here also small m is going to be the mass of the balls. Capital M is going to be the mass of the sleeve. And Q is equal to change in position. So basically when Q is equal to 1, then m plus m, like this you have derived. H2 is for the maximum speed. For isochronous governor, n2 minus n1 is equal to 0. Therefore, from equations 1 and 2, h1 is equal to h2, which is impossible in case of a Porter governor. Why? Because it is going to make rotations. So hence a Porter governor cannot be isochronous, because the range of speeds may not be constant for equal radii of rotations. So that's what we have to understand here. So what is isochronous governor? That means for a range of speed, for a radii of rotation, if equilibrium speed is constant, then that is going to be called as a isochronous governor. So is said to be isochronous when equilibrium speed is constant for all radii of rotation of the balls. When radius of rotation of the balls is going to taking place, definitely H1 and H2 is going to differ. So that is not happened for a Porter governor. That's what we have to remember here. Next, isochronism. A governor is said to be isochronous if equilibrium speed is constant for all radii of rotation in the working range. Therefore, for an isochronous governor, the speed range is 0, and this type of governor shall maintain constant speed. That is the advantages of this one. Next, hunting. Another part is in hunting, already I told. Hunting means an, an excessively fast to and fro motion of the sleeve between the stopper due to the resonance condition is known as a hunting of governor. So what the meaning here is, for a small change in speed, if the sleeve position vary, then fuel supply vary. Due to this one, for every decrease in speed, for fall in speed, for increase in speed, the governor is going to respond very quickly. In that way, if a governor is responding, then that is going to be called as a hunting of the governor. I repeat once again, between the stopper and the primary position, if a sleeve moves up and down based upon the speed change for a slight range also, then that is going to be called as a hunting of the governor. Higher the sensitiveness of the governor, the problem hunting becomes more acute. So stability is equal to 1 by sensitivity. Sensitivity is also nothing but the responding to the speed of the governor is going to be called as the sensitivity. If the sensitivity is good means stability is going to be poor. If stability is going to be good means sensitivity is going to be very poor. So that is the understanding concept based upon the relation between stability and sensitivity. What is sensitivity? Quick response to the change in speed is going to be called as the sensitivity. And what is the hunting? Hunting is exactly parallel to the sensitivity. Hunting is opposite to the stability of the governor. What happens in stability of the governor? In stability of the governor, response of the governor within the range of speed is going to be very, very weak. That's the first point you have to remember. If the range of speed increases, then we can increase in the fuel supply. If range of speed increases, if range of speed is at constant, then hunting is going to be poor. So hunting is nothing but for every slight change in the speed, if the governor response is very quick, then we call it as a hunting of the governor. That is the concept. So isochronism is what? Isochronism is the maintenance of the governor at a constant position within the range of speeds is going to be called as a isochronism. The type of behavior is going to be called as a isochronous governor. Porter governor does not behave like a isochronous as per the previous example I taught you. Why? Because for minimum speed and maximum speed, H1, H2 are going to be vary. It reflecting the N1 condition and N2 condition. H1 is minimum speed, H2 is maximum speed. It will depend. So this information shows that hunting is also one part of the parameter. Stability is also another parameter. Sensitivity is another parameter. And isochronism is also one of the factor. So hunting and stability are opposite concepts. When hunting is going to be there, then stability of the governor is going to be poor. That indicates sensitivity of the governor is very good. So for Hartnell governor, if we observe already have derived the equation for a Hartnell governor. Hartnell governor running at speeds N1 and N2 in RPM. So then the equation becomes M is mass of the sleeve, this acceleration due to gravity. S1 is going to be the spring constant for the minimum speed. 2Fc1 is the centrifugal force acting on that one. X and Y are the parameters that are going to be variable. If you observe the diagram, one is horizontal distance and other one is perpendicular distance to the spindle axis. N1 is the minimum speed distance. As you have taken S1 is the spring constant, then we are going to take N1 condition. R1 is the minimum radius of rotation of the governor. Similarly, if we take a maximum condition but maximum speed, mg plus s2 is equal to 2fc2 into x by y into 2 into m. That is 2 pi by n2 by 60 whole square into r2 into x by y. So note, the isochronous governor is not of practical use because the sleeve will move to one of its extreme positions. Immediately the speed deviates from the isochronous speeds. So already I told isochronous is that means if the range of speed if it is constant, then we are going to be call it as isochronous governor. But this not happens for extreme positions because for every change in extreme position, there should be definitely a change in R2 value and it will affect the this one. So based upon this concept, we can say that practically isochronous governor is not suitable for practical use because practically the governor has to respond the fuel control. Next, hunting. This is a example of hunting for better understanding. A governor is said to be hunt if the speed of the engine fluctuates continuously above and below the mean speed. This is caused by a too sensitive governor which changes the fuel supply by a large amount when a small change in the speed of rotation takes place. Already I have explained this concept. This is a notes for your exam presentation. So this is caused, that means if there is a change in the sensitiveness, then there will be a change in the speed of rotation. That's what this point says. For example, when a load on the engine increases, the engine speed decreases. And if the governor is very sensitive, the governor sleeve immediately falls to its lowest position. Thereby, we have to supply the fuel. And by supplying the fuel once again, quickly the governor reacts in hunting. And this will result in opening of the control valve wide, which will supply fuel to the engine in excess of its requirement, so that the engine speed rapidly increases again, and the governor sleeve rises to the highest position. At this position, once again fuel supply is going to be cut off. When fuel supply is going to be cut off, immediately the sleeve will fall down. Due to this movement, the sleeve, the control valve will cut off the fuel supply to the engine, and thus engine speed begins to fall. Once again, the cycle repeated indefinitely. When engine fuel is going to be cut off, automatically sleeve is going to fall down. When sleeve is going to fall down, immediately power supply will increase to maintain the speed. So within no time, it will once again boost its position. Such a governor may admit either a maximum or the minimum amount of fuel. This effect will be to cause wide fluctuations in the engine speed, or in other words, the engine will be hunt. This type of behavior, if you observe for the engine, then that is going to be called as the hunting of the governor. So this is going to be, that means for every quick response of the speed, it is going to be taking place. Due to this one, it is going to be affect the engine. That type of effect is going to be called as a hunt of the engine. I think I'm clear with the hunting of the governor. For small change in speed also, if fuel supply is going to be affected, then that effect is going to be called as a hunting of the governor. Why? In short time only, hunting is going to be take supplying of the fuel, and cut down the fuel is going to take place. Let us go for this one. Next, effort and power of a governor. Already I told this effort of a governor definition and how related with the power. What is effort means? The work done by the governor to move the sleeve position on the spindle is going to be called as the effect of the governor. It depends upon the speed of the governor. That is the thing to remember. Let us have the wide discussion on this one. The effort of a governor is the mean force exerted at the sleeve for a given percentage change of speed. Effort of governor is the mean force exerted at the sleeve for a given percentage change of speed. It may be noted that when the governor is running steadily, there is no force at the sleeve. That means there is no change in position. Thereby, effort is going to be zero. Steadily means my sleeve is not moving up. But when the speed changes, there is resistance at the sleeve, which opposes its motion. It is assumed that this resistance, which is equal to the effort, varies uniformly from a maximum value to zero. So it is assumed that this resistance, which is equal to the effort, varies uniformly from a maximum value to zero, while the governor moves into its new position of equilibrium. So when there is a change in that one, then it is going to go to new position of the equilibrium. The power of a governor is the work done at the sleeve for a given percentage change of speed. The power of governor is the work done at the sleeve for the given percentage change of speed. What is the meaning here is the power is nothing but what is the sleeve position and the mean effort. So lift of the sleeve into the mean effort will give the power. That's what the mathematically we can represent this relation between the power of the governor. The power of the governor is the work done at the sleeve for a given percentage change of speed. It is the product of the mean value of the effort and the distance through which the sleeve moves. Mathematically, we can able to represent it. Power is equal to mean effort into lift of the sleeve. So power is going to be related with these two parameters. Next, effort and power of the governor with the help of a porter governor I have explained. So here, if you observe this one, the effort and power of a porter governor may be determined as discussed below. N is the equilibrium speed responding to the configuration. C is the percentage increase in speed. So increase in speed is equal to C in dot N, C into N. Increase in speed is original speed plus change in percentage of speed into N. Thereby N is equal to 1 plus C. For equilibrium position of the governor at the increased speed as shown in here in figure, if you observe the distance how x is varying. First one is position equilibrium speed is x is does not reflected and h is there. When there is a change in increase in speed, what happens? The balls are going to be moved still away from the spindle axis. Thereby h1 is going to vary. And similarly from the bottom side, the sleeve is going to move a bit higher. That the change in higher position is going to be called it as a x we have represented. So equilibrium position at increased span is h and second one is going to be the x. So position at equilibrium speed is equal to h and x is going to be 0. If the same thing we have represented in a change in speed, that is position at increase in speed. So like this we can explain the power of the governor. Power of the governor is equal to effort of the governor into change in position of the sleeve. It is due to the speed. Next, controlling force. On what factors this controlling force is going to be depend? If you observe the diagram, it is have radius of rotation of the balls and controlling force Fc. So we know that when a body rotates in a circular path, there is an inward radial force or centripetal force acting on it. In case of the governor running at a steady speed, the inward force acting on the rotating balls is known as a controlling force. What is the controlling force? In case of a governor running at a steady speed, the inward force acting on the rotating balls is known as a controlling force. That means balls are going to move widen means there is a change in sleeve position. If the balls are going to be coming closer to the spindle axis means there is a change. So the changes of the governor is depend upon the radius of the ball. The radius of the balls in the sense rotating of the balls. Then that is going to be called as a controlling force. So controlling force depends upon the rotating balls. It is equal and opposite to the centrifugal reaction. The controlling force is provided by the weight of the sleeve and balls as in Porter governor and by the spring and weight as in Hartnell governor. So as a Porter governor we have a balls is there. Hartnell governor comes under spring control governor. So spring and weights are the parameters are used in Hartnell governor. And the graph between the controlling force Fc as ordinate, that is y-axis, and radius of rotation of the balls as abscissa means on x-axis is drawn, it will be like this. So controlling force on y-axis and radius of rotation is on the x-axis means then we are going to be call it as the graph on controlling force. So if you observe the diagram, controlling force diagram of a Porter governor is controlling force is equal to m omega square r. M is equal to 2 pi n by 60 into r. Once again n is 1 by m 60 by 2 pi square fc by r, that is tan pi. So n is equal to 60 by 2 pi into tan pi by m into 1 by 2. So when pi is the angle between the axis of radius of rotation and the line joining of given point A on the curve to the origin. So the same graph I am showing once again for a better understanding. So it depends upon the pi value. So pi value vary from O to A. So as Fc by R is equal to tan pi, so Fc by R, that means F is centrifugal force and R is the radius of the ball. So on these two factors only it depend. So Fc by R is equal to tan pi. So n can be written as 60 by 2 pi into tan pi by m into whole square. So before closing the class, I want to summarize the contents here. First, we have gone for classification of the governors. Second, construction working of the Pickering governor, and Pickering governor used in small applications, basically in a gramophone. Third one is we have gone for the one important terms in the governors. One is isochronous governors, which is called isochronous governor. They, in that one I have taught about what is isochronism, sensitivity I taught, stability of the governor I taught, and hunting of the governor. These four parameters we have discussed, and we have discussed about how, what is the power of the governor, what is the effort of the governor, and what is the controlling force of the governor. So total 7 concepts we have discussed here in the terms used in governor, and one is about Pickering governor, that is the construction working of the Pickering governor. So the classroom notes is completely available in Google Classroom code. All of registered students, which is very useful to you. 4FW5XEK. All are small letters only, which we can visualize on the screen. And email ID is cheer5@rediffmail.com. You can have a text message for your questions or queries. Thank you, students. Take care. See you all. Bye.